welcome to episode 1 of the K.I.O.S.K podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is John. Outlaw14 is my gamer tag, or most people call me Outlaw.
And I'm Chris, V the Raging Redneck, or simply V. If you follow us on any socials, we have explained what K.I.O.S.K stand for. This episode is about your hosts and a little about our gaming backgrounds. So let's get us started with our earliest memories of gaming. John?
My earliest memory of gaming is River Raid for Atari. Honestly, I don't know how the hell I got an Atari because I never had one. I think it was my cousin's, and I just remember playing River Raid. There's another game I played on there too, but it was like an elevator. I think you were like a cop or an inmate or something like that, and you had to set bombs. But I don't remember the name of that game. If anyone remembers the name of that game, please put it in comments and let us know. But River Raid was definitely my very first memory of gaming. How about yours, bro?
Yeah, River Raid. Boy, that throws you back when you start talking about the Atari. For me, man, it was actually Asteroids, and I started on Asteroids because, believe it or not, that was something that my uncle played a lot of. That was also on Atari. I also remember playing on the ColecoVision, but I couldn't tell you what game it was because ColecoVision, man, I was 3, maybe 4 years old. So there's really, 40 years later, it's kind of hard to remember what you were doing back then.
Oh yeah.
So,
did you do Atari in the arcades at all?
I do remember playing some Asteroids and some Pac-Man in arcades. Lord, dude, that was probably the mid to late 80s. How about yourself?
God, dude, I never did that in the arcades. My first arcade game, honestly, was an Aerosmith shooter. I forgot what that fucking name is called, but it was an Aerosmith game.
I remember that as well. Yeah.
They had the whole soundtrack and everything. It was a neat game though, but I think that may have been my first memory of an actual going to an arcade and not just sitting at home.
Heard that.
Yeah.
How about your console? What was the first console that you actually remember playing or purchasing? Your very beginning to gaming, if you will.
First console I ever owned or had was an NES. Nintendo. Gotcha. Nintendo was my first one. Super Mario Brothers. I'm sure everyone else's was too. First console I remember I actually bought was a PS2, and that was my first actually bought console. And honestly, I bought it for Burnout, and then I started playing Mega Man and a bunch of horror games. So that was my first actually purchased console with my own money.
Nice.
Yeah. How about yourself, man?
Those are your favorites when you spend your money and you actually, you bring it home, you realize you worked for it. So yeah, but for me, man, it was actually the ColecoVision. My uncle gave it to my parents when my parents moved out of my mom's, so my grandmother on my mom's side. But for me, the first console I bought was actually the PS1, and I saved up for 4 weeks to buy this thing, dude.
Damn.
Absolutely ecstatic about it. All I had was the money to finish paying it off. Layaway at Walmart was such a savior back then. And the only thing I had for 3 months was the fucking demo disc that came with it. No memory card. I think it came with 2 controllers. It's been a while, but yeah, man, when you get a demo disc to play for 3 months, you're just like, wow.
Honestly though, I remember those demo discs, and I think that was a good idea. I don't know why they stopped that.
I don't either, but PlayStation Underground used to be my savior. Bro, I loved getting a hold of those discs and playing some of the games and deciding, okay, at the time I'm making $5.25 an hour. Am I going to save up for X amount of weeks to be able to purchase said game, or do we just let it slide?
Exactly. Totally. I understand that.
So, speaking of gaming and stuff, what are your fondest gaming moments or your fondest gaming memories that you can recall?
Honestly, my biggest and probably like the memory I'm always going to remember is just playing with my cousin. We used to go to my grandma's house every weekend, and we would sleep over. We would sleep in front of the TV so nobody had access to it. And we would play from 6 a.m. to like 3 a.m. in the next morning, sleep for 3 hours and jump back on games all weekend. that was pretty much my weekend for my childhood. I don't really remember spending too many weekends at home. It was mostly at my grandma's house, but that was it. Like that was the best damn times ever. How about you, bro?
I remember that as well, dude. You spend your weekend away from home playing games and all. For me, probably my biggest memory or my most fondest memory would be my dad and his buddies had been playing Mario 3. God, dude, for weeks. I mean, weeks on end. They had finally gotten to World 8, and that's when you had, what was it, the battle tank thing and the planes. And they kept trying, and none of them could get all the way through it without losing lives. And they were trying to do it, as single player, as Mario and Luigi, back and forth to see how far they could make it. And I come in and kind of just shredded on them. God, dude, I can't even remember how old I was. I want to say less than double digits.
Damn.
I came through, man. Made it all the way to Bowser's Castle. Obviously, for somebody at that age, you're not going to go through, not back then. But I remember getting all the way to Bowser's Castle, Dad telling me, let me handle it, let me get to it, let me, run through this. We ran out of lives, wound up having to start over. I decided I was going to keep playing, keep trying, and I actually made it to Bowser, and I can't say that I ever beat him back then. It was years later before I actually was able to conquer that dude.
That's Nintendo hard right there, man.
Oh, bro, I am telling you that would be my biggest thing, though. That's my biggest memory is Dad and his buddies making it through, and then I'm just absolutely shuddered their feelings whenever I made it further than they did. And to be fair, nobody ever beat that game back then. Huh. Like, as far as that group, none of us ever beat it.
Wow.
Yeah. And speaking of specific games and stuff, what is your favorite genre of game to play?
My go-to is usually action adventure, stuff like that. Like it's the Assassin's Creed, shit like that. Honestly, at this point, it's usually anything I can kind of get my hands on. I don't do much of the battle royales or too many multiplayer type games because I ain't got the time for them, honestly. Like, I just don't. But action adventure games, man, those are usually my go-to, or like a Dark Souls type game or a Soulsborne, stuff like that. Like, I love those type of games. And honestly, it keeps me busy. Like, spending 3 hours on a boss to try to figure them out. I love doing that, and it's just something that, it's the past. Like, when like I said, taking it back to the memories. Me and my cousin, we were playing Mega Man all fucking day, trying to beat a boss or trying to beat a level. And I honestly, I probably owe it to Mega Man for a lot of my patience, because that game, I think that game was my biggest hurdle when I was a kid. Yeah, but definitely action adventures. But I go for kind of anything we can. But I love it, man. Like, just playing it, just any type of game like that. It's fun as hell. How about you, bro?
For me, man, we've gamed together long enough. For me, it's Metroidvanias. Yep. I love the Castlevania games. I love the Metroid games, the side scroller, hack and slash shoot 'ems, however you want to put it. Those style of games. Mega Man. Yeah. Those have, those side scroller style games have always been my thing. As I got older, I got more into a little more difficult games, some RPG stuff. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII hit at a perfect time in my childhood and growing up. But yeah, dude, I remember actually coming across Metroid on the Nintendo. Oh man, I was staying with somebody who was babysitting us, and I immediately fell in love. Castlevania was given to me by a friend at school, and that was another one that I wound up having to get a Nintendo Power. Just going through it, Simon's Quest.
Best book ever, man. Best book ever.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, the Metroidvanias are going to be my go-tos.
It's funny because, speaking of Final Fantasy, back to my cousin, when we used to go to my grandma's house, he brought his PlayStation one time, and I don't know if his friend was playing a joke on him, but it was like a 4-disc game. I think it was something like that. And
Yeah.
he heard from a friend that if you leave your system on for like 100 hours or something like that, or your save file, it automatically tells you to go to the next disc. He was at like 75 hours or something like that. He left his system on all day. We get back to it the next day, it's just ticking away. I'm like, dude, this is not working. Like, I think you were lied to. But it was funny, man. Like, I was like, we didn't have internet access back then. You know what I mean? Like, we couldn't look that stuff up. It was all word of mouth or Nintendo Power, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or go down to the local bookstore, magazine shop, or whatever, and come across a magazine that says, "Hey, this works." And by the way, congrats on falling for the April Fool's joke.
Yeah. It was funny though. Not like I'll always remember that part. Like, he just sitting there the whole time, like waiting for that next disc to go in. I was like, dude, no, that's just not gonna happen.
That's actually a new one for me. I had never heard that, so I'm glad I didn't fall for that back in the day.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A wall or climbing a mountain or you know, finding the next gear level type thing, you know, and that's what I love doing it. But you know, I think the biggest thing that kind of got me back into gaming or more motivation was, I mean, when I had my first heart surgery in 06, you know, when I got out of the hospital, I had a lot of time, and I think that's when I played a lot of PS2 and I played a lot of GameCube, because I had access to those, you know, and I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything because of the surgery. You know, I didn't have anything in the hospital, you know, going forward. It was just me and my phone, you know. Like I said, I cut the rope was my go-to for that. But you know, after my first surgery, it's just playing those games again and loving them again. You know, I played the old Prince of Persia's, or I played you know, any of the old games that were on PS2. I forgot which ones I played, but I think it was Prince of Persia I went back to, or hell, I think one of the games I played was Army of Two. You know, it's stuff like that. But it was 06 that honestly kind of rekindled stuff again, because I had that new lease on life getting back out of the hospital after my surgery.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, dude. I've never been through something like that, you know, and to come back and pretty much be gone and come back, I guess you would say, because having heart surgery, man, they pretty much kill you, you know, and you come back and get back into what you love, dude. That's definitely a big motivation for wanting to game and getting, you know, and just doing it in general. Yeah, I understand. Like a you know, we've talked about one-on-one. For me, you know, with life and work and kids, man, raising kids and needing that momentary escape, you know, from the world that you live in. I would say to de-stress, but you know, like we've talked about on one-on-one, is it's not really de-stressing, because you're really stressing the shit out of yourself with something else. Exactly. So there's never an escape.
Exactly. Depending on what you play, it's always going to be that stress factor.
Oh God, dude, big time. Elden Ring was my big intro to fuck my life. Yeah, I get that. And by the way, thanks for pushing me so hard as you did to get me into, you know, I would have never touched that game because I had heard that it was a Dark Souls, and my research into Dark Souls games, I was like, why would anybody ever put themselves through it? And I guess not as in depth, you know, as yourself and some of the others, but I do have a better respect for those games now, and a better enjoyment for them as well.
Yeah, I get that, and I like those type of games just because it keeps you motivated, or it keeps you going. And you know, you beat that boss, and you're like, I did it. You know, it was me that did it, and hell, I've beaten all the Dark Souls games, and Elden Ring and Lies of P and all that, and you know, my hands have been shaken before. It was a good time. Like I've felt that rush before, and I think that's what brings us back to it. You know, I think if you sit there and you beat the boss, or you beat the enemy, and you're like, yeah, I just did that. Yeah. I don't know. I think to me at that point, I'd be like, I better step away for a little bit to kind of rekindle it, but it hasn't happened yet, man. Has not happened
And
yet.
For me, with those types of games, it's, you know, I get that cocky and arrogance, like I just beat this fucking boss that I have seen others struggle on. I struggled myself on, and move forward into the new adventure that's beyond that boss, heading to the next boss, and it's not even a mid boss. It's just some randomly new character that you've never seen before that just whoops your ass.
Yep.
It makes you go,
Very true.
welcome to the new world,
Yep.
kid. Try again.
You need to be this tall to be in this area.
Right? Yeah, dude, and it's humbling. You know, it's humbling, but that makes for a greater satisfaction when you do move on to that next area.
Yeah.
I get it.
Totally, yeah. Definitely do.
Yeah, it's. I never got into the Dark Souls. You know yourself. I played lots of P. I played it on stream, and I will admit it, folks. I did delete that fucking game on stream.
I was there.
Pissed me the fuck off. But after some time and I guess life humbling experiences, I did try it again. Unfortunately, it's about to leave Game Pass, so unless I purchase a copy, my Liza P days are done. I did not beat it. I got a long way into it.
You did, yeah. You got far into it.
Yeah, but I never settled the debt with that game, if you will. So
you settled the debt with the boss. That made you quit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I did. But as far as I do know that I need to suck it up and, you know, chuck another stick on the fire and go burn that game down. But right now that just I can't bring myself to that stress level anymore right now. You know, got to take time away and just do some enjoying things.
True.
You know?
I hear that. Understandable.
So when you stream, let me ask you that.
Yeah.
When you stream, what is your favorite game genre, if you will? What is your favorite one to play?
Favorite ones to play is typically like a Dark Souls game because, like I said, it kind of keeps me motivated to keep going. Open world games to just looking for the new spots and, you know, finding them and learning more of the story. But I honestly kind of anything, but I just love the Dark Souls type games. Just kind of brings me back to it, or hell, like you said, Metroidvanias, like finding that new area or getting that level that, you know, you beat the boss. Now you have their weapon and you can explore more of the world. I think those are usually my go-tos because, you know, if it's just like a 1, 2, 3 section game, you get through those too quickly, and it's like, what else are you gonna do on stream, you know? And you know, I've done the retro gaming on stream before. I've done the you know, you know, tell me what you want me to play type stuff, you know. And we did the old school Nintendo games, you know, but you know, after we were done with them, like, I didn't know what to do because it was either 45 minutes, it was half an hour, like we were done with those. But those, you know, those open world games will always bring you back to it, you know. As I said before, I've been playing that Ghost of Tsushima, and I know I'm saying it wrong. Don't at me. But it's a big world. Like, I'm still at the bottom of the map, and it's a big ass map. So I've got a long way to go. I really do. And,
nice.
You know,
yeah. I can tell you, folks, his favorite game that he's played as far as the retro game was a game called Out of This World for the Super Nintendo. We were in a discussion, and it was brought up something about, you know, I'm not the one to give up. I'm going to fucking play this game. This was Dark Souls before Dark Souls was even a wet stain on the mattress. Like, this game was the literal definition of, you get touched, it's back to the beginning, motherfucker. Like, there is no, oh, I got a little damage. No, this guy touched my fingertip with a piece of his mustache, and now I have to start the whole fucking level over.
And I think that the checkpoints were like terrible and awful in that game, if there even was any. I don't remember.
I think it was level checkpoints, right?
Was
Where
it?
you had to give you, give you that little code, like a little 4-digit code, and that's the only way you could access the next world, as far as I remember. But to be fair, and I give him shit about it, save states did save that game.
True.
You know, and playing it on an emulator. So that if you ever decide to play it and y'all want to check it out, I advise playing it on an emulator. Don't try going and getting it on an old SNES and saying, "Oh, I'm going to run through this shit to show these guys what's up."
No.
If you do,
record
hats
it.
off. Yeah, hats off. Definitely send us a fucking video of it. Hell, I'll come back to streaming just to show you doing it. I'm sure John here, he'll say, "Hey, look, we talk shit on our podcast, and this guy came in and said, fuck both of them,' or this lady." Not to be sexist. I mean, it could be either one. Nobody knows. If you beat that game and you do it, just say a no hit run, because that's what it's going to take, bro. Send it in.
Please.
Send it to us.
I'd love to see it. Because that's not an easy game.
No, dude. No, that takes me back to the early mid 90s. The only reason I knew about it was because my aunt and uncle had the game, and my uncle was one of those, much like you. He's one of those who accepts the challenge.
Okay.
You know, and he told me, he's like, "This game I will never beat." He's like, I've made it to like the second or third mission. He goes, "But I put it down for so long that when I start back, I have to start fresh. I have to get to all those buttons and everything, because it is the true definition of a Souls. You know, you get familiar with this, you understand your enemies, you understand the layout of the land, and all of a sudden, fuck no, we're changing everything on you." So, yeah, that was a good one.
That wasn't it. Then honestly, when you brought it up, brother, that was the first time I've ever heard of that game. When you told me about it, I was like, and when I turned it on, I'm like, what the hell's going on? But when I first played it, and I think it was the first enemy that took me out, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a bitch.
It was probably that little slug thing.
Yeah, it was something.
You think it's part of the background or foreground, and as you're running through, you're like, you don't think to jump over it, and this son of a bitch, all of a sudden there's a cutscene, and you're dead. And you're like, excuse me, what the fuck happened here? I'm actually looking right now. Out of This World was called Another World, originally from 1991. So yeah, that's shit, Lord. It was on the Amiga, the Atari, 3DO Interactive. I don't know what multiplayer is. Apple II, Jaguar, Mac OS, MS-DOS, Game Boy Advance, Sega CD, Genesis, Super NES, and somebody actually put it on a fucking TI-84 calculator.
Jesus, they really wanted you to get punished in that game.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, that's that. I would have to say, out of everything I've ever played, personally, that is the hardest game I've ever played. Yeah.
I'll give you that. That was a tough game. Yeah. That game was insane. It was, I mean, fun for the challenge. Like I accepted it. I did it on stream when we were doing it. I don't even know how far I got. I'm pretty sure my save state's gone. I would have to start over again, but that ain't gonna happen.
Oh no, you actually beat that one on stream. I do remember
Did
that.
I?
Yeah, because me and our friend Ninja were giving you shit about using save states on it.
Yeah, that's right.
He's hacking using save states, but no, honestly, dude, and I even told you before, that's a lot of respect to put yourself through. Folks, y'all don't understand. I'm telling you, look up gameplay.
Yep.
Out of This World for the Super Nintendo. If you really want to try a tough game, or you really just want to look at one and go, yeah, I don't even know why the fuck you would do that to begin with. That's one to look at. Out of This World, Super Nintendo. So we've mentioned our consoles. We've mentioned, consoles we've played. We've mentioned, what we currently game on. Yeah. What would you say is your sit-down go-to as far as what you use to game on?
Like PC, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
PC.
Your favorite, definitely your PC.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it is now. I mean, my go-to was always Xbox. It always was. I never had the original. I started on 360, but it was always Xbox. Like that was my always go-to, because that's typically what I mean, honestly, when I first started streaming, that's what I streamed from, because I didn't have a streaming computer. Right. But that was my typical go to. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, for me, it was PS2. I was the nerd with the floor to wall collection of, what do you want to play? All right, I'll put it in. Don't touch my fucking disc. You scratch my stuff, dude, you're gonna buy me a brand new copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still like that, bro. I'm like, don't touch my stuff, man.
So, I've told you that I let my son get my Series X.
Yep.
And when I built the PC, obviously, I gave him most of the old componentry, but he had my Series X. I still have all my games sitting under my entertainment center right over here. Like, he didn't get the games. None of them. And he's like, but Dad, can I play this? No. If you want to play it, you're going to have to buy a copy. But you're old enough, you're working, go buy your own damn copy, because I personally am not going to deal with you scratching my shit and then, yeah. Well, don't think, just go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, honestly, like bringing it back to the scratching and stuff like that. Like, I've learned my lesson, like loaning shit out before, because I loaned out. I don't know if you ever heard of this game before, but it's on Nintendo 64. It's called Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I lent it to a buddy when I used to live. I used to live in another city, and I ended up moving from the city. But I kept asking him. I said, "Give my game back. Give my game back." Never heard from the guy again. Like, he totally ghosted me. Never got the game back. That shit's like $400 now on eBay. It's still like it's a great game, but I'm not paying $400 for that game again. Or not again, but the first time. It's right. I paid it was like $60 for it at the time, but now it's like 400. I'm like, dude, that's insane. But I'm with you, dude. I'm 100% with you on that. I'm very iffy about loaning stuff out unless like I really, really trust you.
Yeah. I lost the original Destiny that way. I lost Castlevania Symphony of the Night got taken from me. And it's like I bring their stuff back, and in my own fault, Oh shit, I forgot to bring it. I'll bring it tomorrow. Okay, that's cool. Here, go ahead and take yours so I don't forget.
Yep.
And it wasn't a case of fool me once, fool me twice. It was I did it a few times, and I'm like, I had somebody ask me one time, hey, can I borrow whatever game? And I was like, no. You can play it while you're here. Feel free. You want to bring a memory card over? You want to stick that in and play? Absolutely. But you're not leaving the house with my shit. If you think you're taking my game, we're going to have an issue.
Exactly.
Anyway, just because of that. And I've had games get scratched. I've had cartridges get broke just because, not everybody's the same about their games.
No.
And we kind of grew up the same with that. We weren't never money happy.
Exactly, yeah.
So what we had, we wanted to take care of. And yeah, I can't say the same for all my toys, but definitely when it comes to my gaming stuff, even my kids now, bro, they will not come near my PC. Like, Dad, can I look up something? Use your phone.
Yeah.
Bought daughter an iPhone 14, 15, 16, whatever the fucking same thing it was last year model she's got.
Yeah.
And Jacob's got he's got the Sam's. They've got $1,000 plus phones.
Oh yeah.
Why do you need to use my PC? Well, you have a phone? Okay, I also paid for my phone.
True. That's very true.
Also, I mean, this whole setup was out of my pocket, so let's not go that route with it.
Because if you break it, your ass is you bought it.
And only one of those two are working. Like I said, my older two, they're, well, might as well say grown and gone, but not completely.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
It's gaming, bro. You could spend days. You know what I mean? If you're a true gamer, there's never enough time in the world to say, all right, I don't want to talk about it right now. I got to move on to something else.
Yep.
No, fuck that, dude. It's gaming, bro. It's our, I guess, drug, without having to be getting fucked up, aside from virtually.
It's something we can talk to anybody about. Like, it's universal. Like, you can bring up a game. Most people have heard of it. Or if they've not, they'll ask questions about it. Like, you can bring up a TV show or a sports team and you're like, I don't really follow it. so I don't know a lot about it. But if you bring up fucking Mario or you bring up Zelda, everyone's like, I've got a story. It's
for sure.
You know, even if they're of the younger generation, they may not have played it, but if they have, they're like, oh yeah, I know which game you're talking about. And I think that's what's cool. Like it's just a universal expensive ass hobby.
Very fucking expensive. Very expensive.
Yeah.
And you know, you're talking about like bringing up Zelda and Mario. Bro, those games are still like, well, Zelda is. So yeah, they're still continuing on. Metroid has recently had one.
Yep.
Castlevania might be the furthest one behind on all that. Metal Gear.
I was gonna say the new one's coming out
Filter.
pretty soon.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and even if some of the younger generation doesn't know about it, if you mention it to them, they're obviously going to come back with them graphics fucking suck, the controls suck, whatever. But it's like, you put that knowledge in their head and they go and at least give it a shot. And like you said, they might have a story. Hey man, you remember me and you talking, and it's like Zelda whatever for the Link to the Past. Remember we did this, and that kid's like, yeah man, well, I was playing Twilight Princess, you know, Breath of the Wild, whatever. And while it's not the exact same game, they have a story. Mario, you know, Mario 2. Man, can't really say Mario 2. It's a good game in its own right, but not it. Mario 3, Mario World. Mario 3 and Mario World for me are the big three for Marios.
I'll give you that.
But if you talk to anybody about it, you know, the 64 kids, they have a story to tell about it. GameCube kids, they have Wii U, DS, Game Boy. I mean, just every iteration of console has had a version of Mario put on it as far as the Nintendo side of it. And, you know, people will share their stories. Man, I did this and I got this. They changed it up from this. You know, you used to play it and this is what you were stuck with. Well, now Mario can do this. You know, and it's like, damn, dude, they've kind of grown with us the whole time as we go. So yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. You love it because it's fun and it gets you away and it gives you stuff to talk about, and you hate it because you realize that some days you've sat down and just stayed there too fucking long.
True.
Or money. Spent that much money.
Yeah. It's one of those things you don't bring up, like, oh yeah, I just got it. It was on sale.
Yeah. I've had several people, bro, they asked me, they're like, how much did you spend on building that PC? And I'm like, let's just say that as long as the wife isn't upset, I'll make that credit card payment.
Yeah. I'll be working for a while.
Yeah. I mean, so like I mentioned, Asus, you guys, Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, I don't give a shit which manufacturer it is. Get out there and nut these prices down a little bit, man. This is ridiculous. Us true old school gamers and head gamers who aren't loaded to the gills or have, you know, got ourselves to the point where y'all will send us shit to sample and try out and keep. And we're stuck with what we got, you know, and with those prices being out of reach, some of us will never get to experience what y'all consider greatness nowadays.
True. That is true. And you know, you can see videos of it, but you're not even getting the true effect from the videos because it's downgraded and uploaded to a certain percent of what they could do. You know, it's never going to be the true unless you sit down and you're doing it. It's never the true vision. Yeah.
Yeah, that virtual degradation is what I call it, because while me and you could sit together face to face and look at something and it looks fine, you know, over time as we go with it, you know, you upload it here. Well, then this person takes it and they stitch it and they talk about it here, or they'll take it and they'll release that video and talk over it and something completely different, you know. So yeah, it's that virtual degradation, if you will, is a form of we don't get to experience what everybody else, you know, says they are.
Exactly.
And if it ain't on y'all as third-party manufacturers, look, man, NVIDIA, we already know, bro. And we already know you guys are in it, you know, for the money. Every manufacturer out there is. And it's not calling them out. Yeah, it's not calling them out. It's not talking shit. But
it's the truth.
I mean, give us some factuations in this. Y'all been busted. You've been called out on your shit, and I'm hearing the same thing's coming from the AMD side. Apparently, their initial launch of their new, 9070s and 9070 XTX cards. Apparently, after the first initial launch, the next wave of cards is coming is going to be at a escalated price.
See, I'll stick to Mario.
You never needed a graphics card for a fucking Nintendo.
That's
guys.
right. You know what?
First.
No updates either. There was not. You can just pop that. I can pop that goddamn game in now, and play it like I did in the fucking 80s. Like, I'm not gonna have a costume pack for Mario. I'm not gonna have a different color for Yoshi. You know what I mean? Like, it's the game is what it is right now. It was launched perfectly. It's done.
We loved it. We loved it, and we loved our bugs. So if it had a bug in the game, you didn't download a hotfix. That never happened.
True.
You fucking played through it. You either played through it or you quit playing it altogether.
Which I've done that before.
But you mentioned your streaming. You want to throw that out there? Give everybody your link on where you're streaming and your name.
It is OutlawTorn14 on Twitch. Yeah, just search OutlawTorn14. You'll see the logo. It's a cowboy skeleton with a hat on, and the background is the sun. But yeah, OutlawTorn14 on Twitch. If you want to follow along, we are currently playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. So.
Dude, we'll get that popped up so get them a link so they can check it out. Myself as well. I haven't streamed in over a year. I've had some other things going on as far as life and things like that. And so I haven't really been able to stream, but it's just like in the title. It's out there. It's Be the Raging Redneck. I'm on Twitch. I have streamed on Kick. I don't really have any set platform right now. We're just biding our time and deciding, do we come back or do we continue just being a mod and a viewer?
Yep.
So that's where we're at with that.
And I appreciate the view.
So we've been talking about gaming quite a bit.
Yep.
And that brings up an interesting point, since we've talked about this. What would you say is your longest, not necessarily nonstop, but your longest gaming session that you've had altogether?
Time-wise, honestly, don't know. It was just with my cousin on the weekends when we used to sleep at my grandma's house. We would go Friday to Sunday evening all day, and that's all we would do. I would bring my Nintendo over. He'd bring his Nintendo or his Super Nintendo or hell, even Genesis. And we just chill and play, man. I was 2 years older than him, I believe, or 3, something like that. I always forget our ages, but we grew up similar. Similar games and similar types and stuff like that. But that was probably about the longest we did. Was like a 72-hour type thing, and just straight playing all the time. Taking a few minutes to eat and go right back to it. That was kind of it. But the way my grandma's house was set up is, the TV was here in the kitchen, so like we didn't have too far to walk. But hell, we slept on the floor, like I said, because I did not want to lose that opportunity to get up in the morning and play some more.
Oh yeah. If you're anything like I am, dude, then y'all would probably actually rotate it out. Like, dude, I'm gonna take a nap. You keep pushing forward. When you get tired, wake me up, and I'll play some more. And then here, I'm gonna give you the controller so I can eat me a sandwich.
Yep.
And, I've been down that road, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We did that on. Actually, we did that on Mega Man a lot because, like I said, those bosses, man. There were some levels we would just like I'd go for 20 minutes and I'd be like, I can't do this anymore, and just pass it off, and I'd leave. And same thing, dude. Like it's those memories we're never gonna lose.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. So, on the opposite end of that spectrum, what would you say has been your longest time away from gaming? Whether no touching mobile games, consoles, arcade, anything like it, just your longest full-length detox, if you will, from gaming?
Shit, bro. I'm gonna say about a month. And that wasn't even my fault. My account got hacked on my 360. and I lost it for about a month, and I tracked them down, whoever did it, and it was, dude, they took my account to play FIFA. That's the only game they played was FIFA, and I got my account back luckily, but it was about a month because I remember that it took them a while. It took them a while to do it, and you know, I always remember this because I talked to the guy at Microsoft, and he's like, what do you want us to do when we find the person that took your account? And I told him jokingly, I'm like, you punish them to the full extent of the law as much as you can. The dude was laughing, man. He's like, I don't know if we can do that, but he's like, we're gonna get it back for you. But I think it was like somebody in like Peru or something like that, like just ended up getting it, hacking it. But I'd say that was probably about the longest, about a month. I mean, other than I'm gonna say about a month. Yeah.
Month unwanted. Yeah. Do you have any time do you have any of them that you actually looked around and said, you know what, I do need to step away? Anything like that, or
honestly, dude, no, not really. I mean, there might be a few days I've gone like, I don't want to touch anything, but nah, nothing like that, man. Yeah,
that's respect, dude. Absolutely.
How about yourself?
So for me, man, longest session. A shout out to my buddy Big B. Obviously, y'all don't know who Big B is. It's a guy I grew up with. His name's Brandon. So we grew up together, went to school together, started hanging out. He had the Super Nintendo. My parents were always against really purchasing the latest, greatest. They weren't ever into it. Opposite end of the spectrum, he was able to get the latest, and greatest. And that's where I actually played the Super Scope 6. I played Pilot Wings, Super Mario World, like a lot of those games. But the biggest one that stands out for my longest gaming sesh altogether, full weekend. Friday, got out of school, went home, knocked out my chores. His mom came and picked me up, if I remember right.
Nice.
Say probably 6 p.m. Friday to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon on Sunday. We played Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, dude.
My dude. My dude.
You know, nowadays, I'll beat that game in a weekend. Back then, oh, bro, trying to figure it out on your own. We had no guides and no get through. Oh, dude, it was such a good time. I remember playing Zelda. I remember playing Zelda 2. Zelda 2 was... back then was a disappointment, but now I respect it for what they tried to do.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
Yeah, especially with Link to the Past coming out.
Yeah.
That one, you could see the transition happen.
Yeah.
And so, I got more respect for it now than what I had. But, dude, the longest game, definitely Link to the Past. Me and him, like we were talking about, swapping controllers, and you run for a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. You play a little bit. Or actually, we had a couple moments where it was like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to take a leak. Don't touch my shit. I'll be right back. I want to finish where I'm at. Then we'll switch." So we had a few of those as well. And on the other end of that, the longest break I had was actually probably about 18 months, more or less.
Damn, bro.
I had to work on a car, needed some money, got it fixed. Actually, I didn't need the money to work on a car. I needed the money to pay the guy who was teaching me how to and helping me work on the car.
Okay.
So I pretty much pawned him my PlayStation 2. It was probably about 18 months.
Wow.
Dude, it was... didn't have a cell phone back then. We're talking early 2000s, so couldn't afford a cell phone to begin with. So there was obviously no mobile game. Hell, I don't even think there was any mobile gaming back then. Snake.
I think I was gonna say that Snake game is probably the only one that we had.
Yeah, dude, fucking Snake.
Fuck that game, by the way.
Yeah, fuck that game. And fuck the person who actually beat that fucking game, dude. That's crazy. Not seriously, just joking, but yeah, fuck you for beating that game, dude. How? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's really it, man. I mean, my longest sesh was probably a full weekend. Obviously, age had a lot to do with that, not being able to go any longer. And then, unfortunately, life hits you hard, and that took me away from gaming. But
no, I get that.
tell you what, ever since I've been back, I mean, it was PlayStation, and then I went to the PS3. Oh shit, what was after that? I bought the PS4. Didn't really care for PS4, so I got the Xbox One, and then I went with the Series X. And then where you see me now on PC. I've built 2 PCs since then.
One so, recently.
Yeah. Matter of fact, one about 2 weeks ago, if not, probably not even that. Yeah, I don't even think it was that long ago. What? Yeah,
it was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, shout out to that.
That was an impressive build. It looks really good, man. You did a damn good job on that one. Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoy it, man. I do. You know, and that ties in with the gaming as well. Like, I've built PCs for people for workstation stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've worked on people's workstation PCs that they've tried to game on, and I've tried to explain to them it's not going to fucking work. We actually, both of us know somebody who's trying to use a workstation PC for that shit. Yeah. But no names are to be mentioned on that. No. But yeah, man, gaming PCs, I love gaming PCs for the multifaceted aspect, because you're not just building something to game on. You're building an extension of yourself, if you will. And I guess that's why I fell in love with the PC side of it after so many years, because customization, man, colors, lights on your fans, whatever. You've seen the LCD screen that I have on my AI.
I have. Oh yeah, I've seen it. I got rickrolled by it.
Yeah, I was saying, by the way, guys, if I can rickroll my boy here, I'm going to rickroll him. I found a GIF of the actual Rick Astley rickroll, so I set it up, sent it to him, and he was like, how the fuck do I get rickrolled by a damn CPU cooler? And I was like, you're welcome, bud.
That's true. And I actually sent it to a few people and rickrolled them as well, so I was not the only one. I was not the only one.
Nice, man.
Plus, the biggest thing with like the PC gaming is there are a shit ton of games on Steam, right? Or even on Epic, or anywhere we go, right?
Right.
Some of them might not be your go-to game, but you're gonna find something. I'll never be like, I'm full PC now. Like most of the time I am on PC, but I have my Series X over here just in case I need something, or even my Switch for stream. And but mostly everything's been on PC. Like that's what I'm playing the Ghost game on, is PC, and a lot of this stuff has been PC now. But I'll never forget the consoles. I'll always have the consoles. But as for PC going forward, I think it's going to be like the main go-to.
Well, let me ask you this: I know you have the Rogue Ally. Is that what you have?
The handheld, yep.
Yeah. So, okay, I know you use that, but not counting that as a mobile. Are there any games that you actually play on mobile? Like, for example, I'm Angry Birds Friends. Like, yourself, I'm huge into the Angry Birds Friends thing. I'm very competitive. Is there anything you play like that?
No, honestly, nothing. I used to play a game called Cut the Rope. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that before.
Yep.
But I used to play that. I did play Angry Birds for a bit, but I never got competitive in it. Like you, yeah. You and the girlfriend go competitive on Angry Birds. Yes, I do know that. But no, honestly, dude, Cut the Rope was usually my mobile game.
I heard it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like the handheld, the ROG Ally, but yeah, bro. Not too many mobile games. Just
nice.
Just back in the day, cut the rope.
You mentioned, I brought the Rogue Ally up for 2 reasons. One, obviously you said you like it, and we discussed it when you were in the act of getting it and whatnot. And my new PC build is all Republic of Gamer stuff. The motherboard, the AI cooler. And if you fucks will ever stop scalping the shit out of us with these ridiculously priced GPUs, get them back down to where the fuck they need to be. I will have a ROG Astral 5090. But, I told you my opinion on it. Yeah, fuckers. I've seen them for $10,000 on eBay. Are you shitting me, dude? I paid my fucking car, paid the same amount for my car
Exactly.
out there. So anyway, I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? I could set that thing up to run perfectly with this system. The only downside to it is I also looked at the price and holy
It
shit,
ain't cheap.
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck no. So it was the was it Z1 or something like that? The processor's
Yeah.
like,
That's the
I
one
was
I
looking
have.
at the high dollars.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that and going, holy fuck, my wife would kill me.
And that's the problem is, so when I got mine, about a month later, they announced it too. They announced a second gen version of it. So I think that's why it's they're just so much right now. It's because the new version came out. But yeah, when I got mine after about a month, it was like, hey, version 2 is coming soon. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not getting another one. Like, I just got this one. This just got shipped to me. So
opens it up, looks at it, reads online, Gen 2, babe, we're going to GameStop.
Yeah, she would have kicked my ass, man.
I get it, dude. I absolutely do get it. But yeah, I mean, I've told you too, I bought the, I don't even have the controller in here with me, but I have the SteelSeries controller that's used for mobile. And the great thing that we was talking, I love about it is I don't have to worry about using the controller that I have for when I do game here on PC. I don't have to worry about carrying that with me or anything like that. I carry that SteelSeries controller. I can bring up and play some of my Xbox games on my tablet that are in their cloud program or whatever. So that to me is if we go back to where me and you started and back in the 80s, 90s, dude, where we're at now, where you can, fuck, dude, I don't even have a VR anymore, but you can literally play your games and be in your games. I'm sure you remember the old VR stuff too. Yeah. It's crazy to know. I'll be 44 this year. I've been gaming for say 40 years. How much has changed from the 8-bit pixels to the people bitching because they don't have ray tracing nowadays?
But it's those games we go back to, like the old Mario Brothers games or fucking dude. I think I played Kirby last year on Switch. I know it was like a new gen Kirby, but it was still a Kirby game. Like those type of games we are drawn to, and it's just I think it's always going to be that way. Like no matter how old we get, those old games are always going to be our go-tos. And like you said, dude, like sitting there all weekend playing Zelda or sitting there all weekend playing Mega Man. Like we had no guides, we had no internet. It was either you figure it out yourself or you wait for a friend on a bus to give you a fucking map of the land. Like, oh, look, I found this here, and you go home and do it. Like that's kind of all we had.
And fortunately for us, having access to some of that stuff now with talking about retro gaming, I mean, there's still go back and play it right here on the PC. Some of the old Marios. I mean, you seen where I was playing Mario World over the weekend or past weekend, and just unlocking all kinds of shit and trying to go, dude, I don't remember this level. What did I do? Because it was always the fastest route to the end. And now I like to enjoy it and go through it and see where we're at with it. It's wild, man. It's wild to go back and experience those things all over again.
And I'm happy we can. Like I'm happy there's people out there that can make this shit and can get it to us and we can figure it out. I think that's cool. I love it.
Right. That's me, dude. It makes it. It's that youthfulness, I guess the nostalgia side of it. I love the fact that, me myself having 4 kids, to be able to introduce them to that, and show them what we started with, where we were when we were their age and younger, and what they have now, and let them really say, God, that was shit back then. But we enjoyed every minute of it. Oh, hell
yeah, we enjoyed every minute of it. Like, it's our go-to. Like I said, man, it's just, with, like I said, with all these other games coming out, dude, I recently found my Game Boy. in my
Wow.
in the closet. Like it's still in its box, the the Game Boy holder with a bunch of games, and I was like, I don't know if it turned on. I didn't get it. I didn't actually take it, but
Yeah.
I was like, it's there. Like I still have, and I think that also stands for the way Nintendo built shit. Like they built their shit to last. You could step on that stuff and it still work. You know, most stuff nowadays, you drop it, it's broken.
Yeah,
You drop a
dude.
Game Boy, that shit'll bounce back up in your hands, and you're still playing Tetris. You know?
And nowadays we worry about fucking stick drift.
Yeah.
The old PS1 days, N64, I never remember hearing shit about. And I gamed way more back then than I do now.
Yeah.
And I never heard about stick drift or fucking analog sticks that just quit working altogether, or triggers that just snapped off. You know, I can definitely agree with you on that.
Same. My name is John, Outlaw Torn 14. As I've said at the beginning, thank you for watching.
I am Chris, V the Raging Redneck, or V, however you want to say it. We do appreciate it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiosk is now closing.
Thank you.